women celebrating women's erotic energy. And there's no competition or jealousy or tension. And I love to be in that space with women. We get to celebrate each other's erotic essences and our turn on and our pleasure and our play. And it's so expansive. We as women have this powerful anchor inside of our wombs and our cervixes and our vaginas and our pussies that are so powerful. There's so much power in our sexual erotic energy. Welcome to Follow Your Heartsong, where we reclaim pleasure, break taboos, and awaken to our deepest desires. I'm Rose Heartsong, bringing you raw, unapologetic conversations on sex, spirit, and self-liberation. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Follow Your Heartsong, this space where we dive into the realms of sex, spirituality, and holistic health, unlocking the codes to living an embodied, liberated life. I'm your host, Rose, and today's episode is going to be so juicy. I'm so excited because today is the first day I'm actually interviewing a dear sister of mine, and we're going to be talking about human design, sensuality, and like self-mastery and erotic mastery through the realms and the lens of human design. So I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. Her name is Kat Shine. She is an erotic artist, a chocolate alchemist, the best, and a dedicated student of human design. Her work is all about the alchemy of pleasure, turning the sensual into sacred, and using erotic expression as a path to self-discovery. And you guys are listening to KXFM, Laguna's Community Radio. This is the heart of Laguna Beach, and I'm so grateful for everyone who puts on this incredible radio station. So we have the opportunity to have these really unique, fun, community-led conversations. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about what the realms of human design, and I'm so excited to have you here, Kat. Thank you for being my first guest.
It's my pleasure.
Miss, I know I'm learning a little bit from you today. We had some conversations earlier today about human design, and I'm such a newbie and a baby. So for those who've never even heard of human design ever in their lives, what is it?
So this is a system that was channeled by a gentleman named Ra. And it's this overlay of 4 different systems, including astrology, the I Ching, and Kabbalah. And yeah, I see it through the lens of astrology, that it's just another system to be able to understand deeper our mechanics. But it really is looking at the structure, like the mechanics of how we move in our day-to-day and how we interact with each other at a very, like a mechanical level.
So I know that it's like similar to astrology where you actually have to put your date of birth and your time of birth and your location of birth in. It uses astrology a little bit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that I've been noticing lately is how people respond based on their style. So there's like a generator, a manifesting generator, or a projector, or all these different types. So what does that mean? That's like their core essence or like their sun sign-ish, right?
If I was going to relate it, there's so many layers to it, really. So yeah, the type might be maybe more of a sun sign. But yeah, there's 5 different types. And there's 2 energy types, which is a generator and a manifesting generator.
Which is what we are.
Yes.
I'm a generator.
And I'm a manifesting generator. And then there's 3 non-energy types, which are less of a percentage of the population as a whole. We have the manifestors, projectors, and reflectors.
Okay, cool. And so I know that they're like less, and the manifestors are more, and then projectors are more, but like the reflectors are like the smallest population.
Yeah, reflectors I think make up like 1% of the population. They're a rare bird. My friend and I joke about them being like a unicorn out in the wild. You come across a reflector.
That's amazing. So when it comes to like embodiment, or because the topic of this radio show is a lot about like sensuality and sexuality and sacred, how would you incorporate that like in your relationships and with yourself and your relationships with others? How would you use human design?
The structure of human design is to get to know yourself when you're in harmony with your mechanics and when you're not. Mm-hmm. When we're looking in the way that we relate with people, as a generator, you're here to respond. Mm. And being a sacral being, it's a yes or it's a no. For me, as a manifesting generator who has an emotional authority, my clarity of yes, this is a resonant connection for me, and or no, this isn't, is actually conveyed over time. And I have to actually ride out my waves in order to find clarity within the connection.
Yeah. So like I asked you to be on this podcast last night or the radio show last night, and you're like, let me think about it tomorrow. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
I love the invitation.
So one of the things I love about Kat, and I was talking about this with her last night, is both of us are like those type of women that don't really give about anything. Like we're just authentically living our lives on our terms, the way we want to, in the bodies, embodied in the way that we want to live. And so how have you evolved with human design to embody your pure essence and not give a what other people think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's this deconditioning process as you're getting into human design. They say start with your strategy and your authority. And there's this, as generators, we all have conditioning. Speaking from my own personal experience, having to agree to things when I don't feel resonant to them, or having to rush my decision before I'm actually ready.
So how do you use human design in a way to connect with yourself, first off? Because, with sensuality and sexuality and intimacy and erotic embodiment, the first thing is we have to step in connection with ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I work with when I talk to a lot of people. Like last night, somebody was actually talking to me about this, is how do I have better sex with my husband? And the first thing I say is you have to have better sex with yourself. Mm. And so when we are using human design, I see human design. I don't know hardly anything about it. I'm super curious about it right now. Mm. I'm realizing in my own nervous system right now that I'm a generator. And I've been on this carnivore diet for the last 2 weeks. I did a bone broth cleanse, and I've been having like major generator energy where I'm buzzing and I'm just, let's go. Yeah. Which can be a little overwhelming sometimes, in all honesty. And then I crash. So like I'll produce and then I'll fry myself out, and I'll crash. And so what I would like to learn, and then I see manifesting generators in my life, and they're just going. They like just this like constant, never-ending, revolving generator that's generating themselves, and I don't understand it. But I do see that I can activate a manifesting generator to move forward, and I have this spark that happens. But I don't know why I'm doing it or how it's working. And then I know you say that I'm run by my sacral, and I don't understand it. I'm just going. So do you have any insight?
Yeah. And then there's pieces within what you're sharing too, that you're sparked up by something, right? Something is sparking your sacral, yes or no. Something's sparking it, yes. And that is showing you that you actually have the energy to follow through on whatever the thing is that is sparking you. And then if it's a no, then it's a no.
So if it's a no, is it because I'm doing something that's out of alignment with my human design?
Yeah. And so oftentimes a generator will find themselves low energy, frustrated. Frustration is the key signature that you're out of alignment. And in that space, what the generator needs to do is find the thing that's actually going to light them up. Okay. And their key signature that they're in harmony and in alignment is that feeling of satisfaction. And so it starts to become this very fine dance of I'm in harmony and I'm in satisfaction and I'm feeling really good. And sometimes that can be overwhelming to the nervous system to feel so good. And so then we might choose the thing that doesn't make us feel good because maybe we've adapted to that.
So like the existential kink of it, like the turn on of the shadow side that's like subconsciously holding us back.
Yes.
So then how would we use human design to get out of that?
By becoming more aware of when we are in frustration. For example, when we're in our key signature that we're out of alignment, then we start, at least for me as an emotional wave, I'm tracking things over time. And I think in general, it's good to track the things over time, noticing the things that aren't bringing me into satisfaction and cultivating better boundaries, whether that's with people, with not everybody who comes into our field is going to be utilizing our sacral energy in ways that are harmonious for all of us. Yeah.
So I've been playing with, like, literally, it's so amazing that I manifested you into my life yesterday because I haven't seen you in a couple months because I literally have been communicating. Well, so I'm refining my communication with men right now. For those of you who are listening, I'm really passionate about learning the difference between communication between the masculine and feminine. We have very different brains. And I've learned that through Alison Armstrong's work. And she teaches us how to communicate to the opposite sex in their language, because a lot of times we're speaking in a different language. But now I'm learning the nuances of how do I speak men through the lens of their human design. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he said he was a manifester. And what he told me is he doesn't like being told what to do.
100%.
But then I was like, okay, may I please have this? And he's like, oh, I like that. Yeah, like I'll give you it if you ask nicely. Talk to me a little bit about manifestors, like how to communicate to manifestors.
I take their initiative in a sense. And manifesting generators can be very much the same. And I think also generators don't like being told what to do either. So it's really like getting in touch with, for example, a sacral generator. You're going to really want to ask them yes or no questions. And you're going to ask them a single question, like, do you want water? Do you want tea? Versus somebody who has an emotional sacral, you're going to ask them and give them options. Would you like water or tea? It's very subtle, but the difference in how the body is able to respond is palpable. Versus a manifester, they're here to initiate. And you're not going to direct them. And you don't want to ask them a lot of excessive, frivolous questions either.
Oh, so I noticed that.
Being very intentional.
Do you want this? Do you want this? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Simplify. Yeah. And then their key signature when they're out of harmony and alignment is anger. And the manifestor anger is sharp and big and powerful because they're here to impact.
Okay, so let's go over your manifestors are here to impact. What a generator is here to do?
To respond.
To respond. Okay, and the manifesting generators?
Also to respond.
You are also responding, but you respond in a different way.
So manifestors are here they're here to make an impact. They're actually here to initiate. Manifestors are here to actually spark a vision, a dream, an idea. The generators have the actual energy. This includes manifesting generators. They are sparked by this initiation from the manifestor. And now they have all this sacral energy activated to build the thing. And then you have projectors who are here to guide sacral energy. They're going to come in and they're actually going to, they just have such a keen eye where dissonance is. And so they're going to be able to guide sacral energy in the most efficient and effective and harmonious way.
I had a projector call me out on my ungrounded energy recently. They were like, and that was when I was like, oh, what is your human design? Because there's something going on here where it was like clear direction of what they were experiencing from me. And I was very like, okay. This is what kind of sparked this curiosity of, I've been hanging out with my dear sister Skylar a lot, and she's a generator, and we're both Aries generators, and we've just been generating each other. It's just together. So it's I feel like one of the things I feel about human design is it comes to you when you're ready for it. Yeah. And when you're magnetized towards it, it starts to unravel and reveal itself to you and magnetize yourself. I had my first human design reading in 2011. And now I'm starting to get magnetized into it. Yeah. How long have you been studying it?
So I took to it pretty quickly, but I did touch it and left it. I touched it. So it was about 6 years ago when I first looked at my chart, and then I dropped it for a long time. And I just went with this, I'm a manifesting generator. So I'm not crazy that I actually pick up projects, drop them right away, move on, and just look seemingly chaotic to a lot of other people. but me multitasking is actually my genius. And so when I set it down, I dove into Gene Keys, which is a spinoff of, it's another framework that incorporates human design. But when I came back to it through our mutual friend, Emily, I couldn't set it down again. And then I was ready. It's like I had to go through this cracking off certain layers to be ready then to dive more deeply into it.
And so since you've dove in deeply into it, like I've noticed your brain recently, like everybody that you, first off, you remember people's numbers and their generate, like what they are, which is incredibly impressive. But then I notice you, it's almost like this lens you see the world through. And I think I'm making up that maybe it's helping you refine yourself and how you connect with others. And so like when it comes to your dating life or your sexual life, how do you use human design?
So when I'm navigating an intimate relationship, yes, I'm going to take into account their type, because obviously I'm going to have a different kind of connection with a projector than I am with another generator or a manifesting generator. And when we start getting into profile lines, that is also an important piece too, because certain profile lines I'm going to respond differently to. For example, somebody who has a 5th line in their profile, they have a certain seduction to them. And it can feel intoxicating and like this draw inward, but also a little chaotic because there's a projection field around them. You can't actually see them in full clarity. So it's definitely helped support me in better understanding the others so that I can come in clarity in the connection. Yeah.
Do you think it helps your communication?
100%.
Do you feel like you're in more harmony in your relationships since
Absolutely.
you've applied it? Cool.
Yeah. And in that, I'm able to better hold space in the communication and also better reflect them to themselves, that they can also see themselves better within the communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. If you're tuning in right now, this is KXFM. We're on Laguna's Community Radio. And this is Rose Heartsong, and you're listening to Follow Your Heartsong, where we talk a lot about sex, spirituality, and holistic healing and holistic health. And tonight we're talking about human design with my dear friend Kat. So if you're tuning in, that's what we're in the conversation around. We're having a good time. And so I'm just like so curious how one who's listening right now could use the basic foundation of human design. You've noticed I really like to use ChatGPT. So I started to talk to a guy that was a projector, and his energy was different. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this. So I put into ChatGPT, how do I communicate to a projector? And how do I relate? And it was really helpful and really supportive. So I highly recommend that first off, you find out what your human design is by, where does someone do that?
There's various sites out there. Jovian Archive, Jovian, is a site that is basic, very common.
Okay, so then you're going to need to know what time you're born, where you're born, and obviously your birthday, which I hope you do know that. And then it's going to tell you, so I'm a generator, that's what it'll tell me, but then it also has numbers, which is, I'm a 3-6, right?
Yes.
And then those numbers mean something.
Yep.
And then it looks like the tree of life.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
The way that it looks. And so there's like certain people have, I don't know, like I think of it as a human body when I look at it. Like there's the head and then the throat and the sacral, and there's different lines that are connected.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, what is a basic beginner? I'm a beginner, so tell me.
Yeah. So, and it can be such an overwhelming system because as you start to dive more into it, and that's why I set it down, because I saw there's numbers on these gates, and then there's secondary numbers after that. And there's so many different channels, and all the channels have different meanings. And so it became to be a bit overwhelming. The basic place to start is know your type.
And your numbers.
And cultivate your relationship with your strategy and your authority. Sometimes even the numbers can be overwhelming.
Okay.
I feel that I've come to understand quite a bit about the types and the numbers through my relationships. I've come to understand these 6 different profile lines through knowing other people's human design and experiencing them.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm really doing that right now. It's like, how do I communicate with people based on their design?
Yeah, and then not to take it personally, that a 6th line is not as engaged as maybe a 4th line is, because 4th lines are all about their network, but 6th lines are meant to be more aloof because they hold a higher perspective.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think a lot of times we as humans have a tendency to expect everyone around us to respond and be and think the way that we are. And then when they're out of alignment with that, then we get mad and we make them wrong, especially men as women. One of the things in the book, The Queen's Code by Alison Armstrong, huge recommendation. Every single woman on the planet should read it. She talks about how we as women see men as misbehaving, hairy women. And they're being bad and they're misbehaving and how dare they, and that they should be the perfect woman. And you have your own experience of what the perfect woman is in your head. And then I have my own experience and I compare myself and everyone around me, especially even men, to like the perfect woman. And then when they're not portraying that, then they're misbehaving, including myself, when I'm not being the perfect version of what I see to be perfect. So I'm imagining that human design can unravel that and explore that everyone's unique.
Yes. Yeah.
And the way they communicate is the way they communicate for a reason.
Yes.
And that's okay. And it doesn't have to be wrong or bad.
Yeah. And ultimately, this system, when it's come to serve us in better understanding ourselves, but really it's to help us better understand the other. Because in understanding the other, we know how to extend grace. And compassion and empathy. Yeah.
Yeah. I also introduced you as a chocolate alchemist. And one of the things I love about you is you are like, you ooze erotic energy.
Thank you.
And you own that. There's no shame in it. And there's an ownership of that. And it's not that common in our world. And so when I see a sister who's emanating the same frequency that I do, I always celebrate that. And the other day, somebody asked me, like, what is a goddess? Because me and my friends call each other goddesses. What is a goddess? And it really made me think about that a lot. And one of the things I realized was, in my experience, like my crew, we call each other like the goddess gang, is that I feel like that energy, like in the modern term, there's like the technical term of the goddess is the definition of the divine, and they like the reclamation or like the embodiment of divine energy. But we use this word pretty often in our modern day context to express ourselves. And the one that I came up with, what I really loved, is that a goddess is somebody who radiates love, and just it's somebody who just loves, and they're oozing love in their being. And there's no drama, there's no comparison, there's celebration, there's cherishing. You and I lift each other up so much, and we celebrate each other so much, and we celebrate our erotic expressions so much, which is really fun. And there's no pettiness or competition or jealousy or triggers. And then even with my sisters that I do have that issue, I just go to them and I'd be like, hey, when you said this, it hurt me.
Yeah, that's potent.
Instead of, oh, she's such a...
Yeah, that just continues the division, right?
Yeah.
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 And your liberation is mine. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that you're pretty involved in a specific dance called House. Wait, what's it called?
House of Embodiment.
House of Embodiment from S Factor.
Yes.
Specifically, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that really lights up your erotic expression.
Yeah. And the interesting thing was that was a tool, being a generator. I magnetize towards me the things that will bring me satisfaction because I'm correctly responding with my sacral energy. I had started to go into my own dance practice because as a second line, that is one of my hermit tools, I guess you could call it. And I noticed that there was an expansion waiting for me there. There was like more that wanted to be expressed and I didn't quite know how to do it. And that's when I magnetized S Factor, when they still had studios open up here in California at the time. And it gave me the language. It literally puts in the language that your body needs to continue expressing what it wants, what's coming through.
Yeah, and what I love about S Factor is there's so much pure celebration of erotic essence with women celebrating women's erotic energy. Yeah. And there's no competition or jealousy or tension.
Yeah.
And I love to be in that space with women where we get to celebrate each other's erotic essences and our turn on and our pleasure and our play. And it's so expansive.
Yes.
We as women have this powerful anchor inside of our wombs that are in our cervixes and our vaginas and our pussies that are so powerful. There's so much power in our sexual erotic energy.
100%.
And unfortunately, we've lived in a society that's brought that energy down and suppressed it and shamed it and made it not okay. And when we let it free, we get to express and feel a new level of power in our bodies.
Yeah.
And it like oozes out of us.
Yes. It pours, it's life-giving. It pours into the people all around us. The land, the people.
It's nourishing.
It is.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
And it's a creative energy.
Yes.
It creates and creates magic. And because I've been like teasing about the chocolates, can we talk about your chocolates for a moment? 'Cause they're so good. Yeah. Okay. For those of you listening, I was supposed to go into my deep holistic healing health aspect on this episode, but then Kat surprised me at my house, so I had to have her come over. But I'm really into health and holistic healing and organic life and eating really clean and chocolate. You've expressed this, and chocolate usually has a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah, processed chocolate.
And it makes you feel icky.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you have a headache or feel tired. And so your chocolate I feel like your chocolate's medicinal. Like it gives me nourishment and lights me up.
Yeah.
And you use honey.
I use honey in some of it. Predominantly, it's date sweetened. And I call them whole food candy bars because it's literally a meal. I'll eat them for breakfast, but it tastes like I'm eating a candy bar. But it's gotten to the point where I won't even touch actual chocolate. Like, I will have chocolate bars from time to time, but just nothing satisfies in the same way as my own chocolates. And 100% is because of the energy I pour into it. So we're going to talk about holistic healing. Can we talk about intention?
Yeah.
And the power of prayer and the power of pouring my sacral lit up energy into everything that I make that then you put in your mouth.
And enjoy so much.
You feel it.
Yeah, it lights me up. I woke up this morning, I was like, Cat's chocolates. Coffee and chocolates. It's my favorite thing. Last night, so Kat and I met at this really fun event that happens once a month in Orange County called Project Heartshine. It's a really amazing dance party, conscious gathering, cacao, chocolate. Chocolate's called cacao is chocolate. They're all the same. And we met because you were selling your chocolates. And I ate them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I love you.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to love you through your chocolate. They're magic.
Essence. Yeah.
They're magic. They make you feel like more human and more alive.
Yeah. And honestly, I've noticed that same grounding presence. I've noticed people can just feel more at peace
when they eat your chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like crazy to say it, but I've seen it time and time again. And I'm like, okay, I'm not just making this up. The power of what we put into our food is felt. That's why we eat takeout and we start day after day and we start feeling really lethargic. Even if it's healthy takeout, I'm going to be real. Even if you're getting something from a really nourishing restaurant, it's going to taste better and it's going to feed you better, but nothing is going to feed you the same as somebody pouring love into a creation that they absolutely love. Just the love of feeding another person and the love of cooking and of creating.
I love to cook for myself.
Yeah.
I prefer it.
It feeds you so much more wholly.
Does that relate to my human design? Me nourishing myself with holistic food?
Maybe the generator piece. You're following your satisfaction.
I am. I'm following what lights me up.
Yes.
Which is currently right now I'm on 2 weeks of carnivore besides your chocolate, which is cheating. But I did have that. I've been eating nothing but meat and fat for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel so good.
Yeah.
I feel strong.
Which just goes to show you, when you follow your sacral response, when you follow your human design, it's going to lead you against the narrative of what you should be eating, but it's correct for you. And each individual
my body was screaming at me.
Yeah.
I was like lethargic and sleepy and not creative and like frustrated. I was frustrated. Yes, I was frustrated. I was like, I need to do a bone broth fast because I'm frustrated. So I did it.
Love it.
And then I went straight into carnivore, and it was really easy to do. Anyone who ever is considering doing carnivore. So the reason you would want to do carnivore is that in our modern diet, the way that we eat currently, we are sugar burners. So we have so much sugar given to us all the time. Like carbs are sugar. Fruit is sugar. Any sugar. We're just sugar addicts because we have access to it. We go to the grocery store. We don't have to work hard. We don't have to go run outside and hunt and pick fruit and harvest it. We have it access to us all the time. So we've turned ourselves biologically into sugar burners versus fat burners, which is what works better for us. So when we're sugar burners, it creates inflammation, creates disease, it creates crash, tired, like anxiety, depression, so many aspects. And when you go from a sugar burner to a fat burner, there's like this die-off or this toxic overload that crashes that happens. It's really uncomfortable, and you can have like diarrhea and just feel like hell and have a headache or a fever. And if you do a bone broth fast, which is just bone broth and water and minerals, lots of minerals, for 3 to 7 days, it puts your body into what's called like ketosis faster, and it helps you turn into a fat burner. And then if you have fat on your body that needs to go away, it'll burn that fat. And then if you don't have that fat on your body that doesn't need to go away, you got to eat a lot of fat. So I've been a fat addict. I love fat. But your chocolates, those are part of carnivore.
I think in
my head.
Least, yeah. Yeah. If you're going to enjoy, that would be the way.
Yeah. In your journey with dance, and in your journey with your chocolates, and in your journey with human design, and all of this fun journey that you've been on in these adventures, if you were talking to someone who, let's say, is numb or disassociated from their pleasure, in like all the magic that you share, what would you share with them if they felt shame or disconnection or, what would you share?
This is just a moment, and I'm hearing somebody's story, and I'm going to send them off with one little nugget of wisdom. Yeah. I'm going to tell them that it's a calibration towards pleasure, and that it's a deconditioning process of choosing the things that we're accustomed to. And it's the simple things of slowing down and savoring the moment in as much presence as you can stretch yourself into.
You're good at that with your dance.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, when people... I was at a dance event last night, and my friend Jenna did like a mock of me when I'm dancing. And she was like, imagine Kat standing in this position, my butt's out, and I'm holding the pole and dragging my arm up my leg. Only it's taking 45 minutes.
Just to move your head.
It will take me 3 songs sometimes to get from the floor to standing.
That's slow.
I am slow, I am intentional, and it's been a wild edge to get there.
Yeah, it's scary to meet yourself.
Yeah. To be with every sensation along the way and feel it.
Slow down.
Not bypass it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Lots of breath.
Yeah.
It's a practice.
Yep. And you just keep meeting the edge, wherever that new edge is, and celebrate meeting that edge and give yourself grace.
Talking about meeting edges, one of the things that you and I had talked about when we were preparing for this podcast is what happens when I do this, and I'm imagining you do as well, based on how you respond to things, is like sometimes we think it's a yes, and then it's actually a no, and we do it, and then like we cross our own boundary.
Yep.
And if you're listening right now and I've noticed a lot of people make crossing boundaries a really bad thing. It's like bad. Oh my God, he or she crossed my boundaries. I crossed my own boundaries, and it becomes this shame spiral.
Yeah.
I don't think boundary crossing is a bad thing at all, as long as it's not done consistently or maleficently from a place of evilness, right? So if you are if you crossed a boundary and you realize that boundary was crossed, my invitation is to celebrate it. Be like, yes, I found a boundary. This is awesome. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And if you have a partner and you've expressed that boundary was crossed and they're consistently crossing it and they're not hearing you, that's not working.
Yeah.
That's not workable.
Yeah.
And with yourself too. Like, I've been crossing my own boundaries lately. My little existential kink part of me has been scrolling on social media till late at night, like way late. And like, it's an addict thing, and it's something I'm working through. Can you use human design to fix that problem?
You know what? I actually was going to say, simply continue to attune to your strategy and your authority. So you, at some point, are just in the mechanism of it, like in the repetition pattern of it, and not actually lit up to be scrolling on the phone.
No,
right?
not at all. I'm drained by it.
Yes. And to something that you had said just earlier, celebrating the crossing of the boundary is like, that is the brilliance of the third line, is that there are no mistakes.
I have a third line.
You're a 3/6. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I mean. Okay.
The third line is called the martyr, and the third line is all about experimentation. And the beautiful wisdom of the third line is that everything is for learning. And it turns into wisdom.
Yeah.
So you celebrate it. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't create shame. Like,
Exactly.
shame. I wish I could just take a sword and just like wipe shame off the planet. I feel like shame is one of the most dense, like destructive emotions that we have as human beings, especially around sex. Yeah. If I have any prayer for this like radio show, which you're listening to, it's KXFM, Laguna's Community Radio. So grateful to be here. Thank you everyone who puts on KXFM. And you can go to kxfmradio.org and live stream all the amazing shows, because there's a lot of incredible shows going on here. But one thing, I think I lost my point when I was celebrating KXFM. Community radios, because they're so awesome. And I'm super grateful to have it here. What was I saying?
I don't know. We were talking about third lines.
Third lines, boundaries, crossing, excitement, play, expansion.
The sword with shame.
Yeah, getting rid of shame.
Yeah.
One of my goals, one of my prayers for shame, one of my prayers for this show is that I want to talk about taboo things, because I feel like when we bring them to the surface, when we talk about them, when we talk about how it actually turns us on and it's a play and we can play with the taboo, then we can let go of it's almost like shame is such a bondage. When I did a dominatrix training last summer, and the teacher that taught me, when she first did her first class, She asked us what was the bondage in our lives that was holding us back from our path. What was like the subconscious belief that was holding us back. So bondage is when we're tied up, right? So what is unconsciously tying you from your power? Do you know? Is there anything that's like tying you right now? It's bondage that's keeping you away from like your full epic radiance.
Ooh, this actually does tie back into the human design piece too. Because as a second line, there's a expectation. There's also a projection field around the second line and an expectation for the second line to play roles. And we were talking about this morning. That feels like a bondage piece for me that there's so many layers with this. To be concise, though, playing roles that I don't actually want to play.
So saying yes when you mean no.
Exactly. And there's been this living into the edge of what happens when I radically live in integrity with my body and with my strategy and authority. Which means that if I have to wait on a decision and the opportunity falls away, it wasn't for me.
Yeah. If it's not a 100% yes in this now moment, maybe it's not working. Because you were a yes for the radio show.
Yeah.
As soon as you were a yes, you were a yes.
Yeah. And that's because it was like every time it was like,
that's exciting.
yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. That's going back to crossing a boundary. Sometimes there can be a shame, though, when we cross our boundaries over and over again. And there can come up with that shame of, oh my God, I'm doing it again. Mm-hmm. I'm scrolling till 1 a.m. and not waking up early and having a spiritual practice. I'm doing it again. I'm in that bondage. Mm-hmm. And what I think could be really fun is to play with that energy instead of shame it and bring it forward. How can I play with it? And also dominating myself a little bit, being like, hey, I'm going to put my phone in the bathroom to charge. It's radical, and not bring it to my bed and put an alarm on and get up when I say I'm going to get up. Yeah. I've been having a lot of fun lately. I did it a little bit this morning, but I've been starting my mornings with music and just twerking.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
And just like getting in my body and playing and it feels really good.
Yeah. And that was like a radical commitment I made for myself when I moved up to Northern California. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting my chocolate business going up in a kitchen up there. And I was like, what if I start my day and all work decisions, et cetera, that come after from this place of deep embodiment, because I chose to go into a sensuality practice and be really connected to my body.
I know, it's so edgy to do that too.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's a practice to be embodied.
Oh, 100%. And to stay embodied.
To stay embodied is hard.
In the presence of other people, and this brings me back to the second line that I wanted to complete, is that when other people are placing roles or expectations to fulfill some sort of role, and that could be for anybody, there's radical...
There's a radical ownership.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is hard. It's hard for my body. It's hard for me to show up every single day for my erotic embodied practice. It's hard, but I do it. And the more I do it, the more free I feel in my body. The more free I feel in my spirit, the more alive I feel.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an embodiment practice, you're listening right now, and you don't have that committed embodiment practice, how can you do it? Like, my first suggestion is when you take a shower. Put music on. And when you go to wash your hair, slow down and just get your hands in your head and your scalp. And you know, when you get your hair cut and they like massage in your hair and they're massaging your head, do that for yourself every time. And when you're scrubbing your skin, like with the soap, slow down and just pay attention and take breaths and just be with the shower and be with the water and think about anything you want to let the water take away from you and let it wash away. So if you're feeling numb, disconnected from your pleasure, resistant, feeling shame, feeling, what I just said, shame, like I'm experiencing with my nightly habits. It's just like bringing presence and awareness and connection and slowing down and breathing is really helpful. And I think that's what I just heard you say, like with somebody who's numb, it's like,
Yeah.
slowing down, learning to be slow.
Yeah. It's honestly in Western culture, everything is geared towards bringing us into a disembodied state because we have to move out of integrity with our own alignment and timing. We have to hurry. Everyone's hurrying just to get to the grocery store because everyone's running out of time because people are working in ways that aren't honoring of their unique timing. So it is radical, and it feels incredibly radical to choose to take a little extra time to formulate a response. To, instead of rushing to the grocery store, I'm going to let all the cars rush around me like that. Those are edges.
Yeah.
And they do feel radical. I mean, it can feel radical to say to a lover or your partner, that I'm not ready yet. And I just want to slow down, and can we just breathe together for a minute?
Yeah.
Can you go slower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important though, to I think I remember the first time I realized this even just 3 years ago, while I was in my sex coach training, that I had chosen to be penetrated by my partners too fast for my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can we try something? Like, I was doing it. It wasn't always the man. It was my choice. I was like, oh, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's have fun. Let's get on it and go. Mm-hmm. And I was like, can we not? Can we breathe? Yeah. And when we slow down? And I think it took us 10 full breaths just for him to penetrate me. Mm. And with every breath, we went a quarter inch in, or less.
Yeah.
And when he finally was inside of me, I started crying.
Wow.
It was so cathartic.
Yes.
I didn't even know that I needed that.
Yeah.
And my heart exploded, and I felt sad that I had allowed myself to just jump on it and go for it.
Yeah.
But as us women, we're being penetrated by another being inside of us. And that's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
If you're having sex with a male-bodied being or a penis, it's vulnerable. And we can slow down.
Yeah. And feel every drop of sensation along the way. It's just going to expand your capacity to receive more pleasure. And that's just going to expand your capacity to receive more of everything you actually want in life.
Desire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our time is coming to a close. If people are interested in getting to know you more, maybe getting a reading from you of a human design, or they're wanting to get savory chocolates. I don't know if that's possible in Southern California at this now moment, but
to come. Yes.
To come. It will happen. That's in the future. I have a box in my fridge, but I'm not going to brag about it. I'm bragging about it.
Because they're all sold out, so don't.
How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is probably the simplest way. And also,
what is your Instagram?
Yeah, my Instagram is at, the @ sign, the cat, K-A-T, familiar.
At the cat familiar.
Yes.
Yay.
At the cat familiar.
And my name is Rose Heartsong. So if you want to get curious more about sensuality, pleasure, turn on, and explore in that way, you can go to roseheartsong.com or Rose Heartsong on Instagram. And I'll be sharing here every single week. I'm really excited because next week I actually am going to have one of the clients that I had the absolute pleasure to work with for a full year. And I actually actually met her at House of Embodiment. So we're going to be sitting down and chatting and going through her journey of full embodiment. She's so shining right now. I'm so proud of her. So we're going to be chatting next week on that. I really am grateful for you for coming on and listening, for hearing our hearts, and for following your own heart song. And I think that's one of the things about human design that I love is once you get to understand it and know it about yourself, you can start following your own heart song. So that's the only way. You're like, what lights you up, what nourishes your soul, and that the way that you are is beautiful and unique, exactly the way you are, and that it's not wrong to be different than somebody else, and that my desire and intention for you listening right now is that you got one piece that was a permission slip so you can be more radiantly you and to be okay with stepping into the taboo. It's been such an incredible pleasure, and I'm so grateful for you, Kat. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being my first guest of many. It's good. Look at you. I just popped my cherry over here. Thank you all. You felt that, didn't you? Let it sink in, take what you need, leave the rest, and always trust yourself. If this spoke to you, please follow, like, and share. That helps the message reach those who need it. Stay wild, stay free, and keep following your heart song.